AstroPictionary Math problem, we want to calculate relative solar flux. We're going to look at two different objects in the solar system. In this particular case, we're going to look at Mercury and Earth. We're given the luminosity of the sun, which is at the surface of the sun, and we're just going to put L with a circle with a dot symbol for sun. So it's the luminosity of the sun at the surface, and of this luminosity, we want to find out how much falls in 1 square meter of Earth compared to 1 square meter of Mercury. That falling on of 1 square meter is the flux. We're given that Mercury is located an average distance of 0.4 AU from the sun, whereas Earth is located an average distance of 1 AU from the sun. We're also given an equation that flux is equal to luminosity divided by 4 pi d squared, where d is the distance between the sun and the object we're looking at. Let's start with the flux of Mercury. The flux of Mercury is equal to the luminosity divided by 4 pi d of Mercury squared. Now, since we want to find the amount of flux at Mercury compared to that of Earth, a comparison generally means that we want a ratio. So we're going to divide this by the flux received at Earth. So instead of putting a big division sign here, I'm going to put it over onto the right-hand side. We put the same equation in. The luminosity divided by 4 pi d squared. In this case, the distance is going to be the distance to the Earth. And then we're going to eliminate like values. So we're going to eliminate 4 pi and 4 pi, and we're going to eliminate L and L. And the only thing we're left with is the distance to Earth squared divided by the distance to Mercury squared. Well, we know the distance to Earth is just 1 AU squared. It's 1 AU, and we have to square the entire quantity. And the same thing for Mercury. It is 0.4 AU. And that quantity needs to be squared as well. Now we can't eliminate like values. We've got a repeat of AU squared and AU squared, so the only thing we need to do is just eliminate AU. And now we're left with 1 divided by 0.4 squared. 1 divided by parentheses 0.4x to the y squared out of parentheses equals 6.25. But now let's take a look at our significant digits. We got 2 digits here and 2 digits there. So we have to round up our 6.25. So we're going to round it up to 6.3. And that is our relative flux that's received from Mercury at Mercury compared to Earth. Mercury receives about 6 times more light, more luminosity than the Earth receives, all due to its distance, its close relativity to the sun.